Okay, hello everyone. A very good evening to all of you, and welcome to the free Shiksha IELTS classes once again. I welcome all of you to this free Shiksha IELTS class, and a small reminder for all of you who have not registered with us so far. So you can just go back to the link in the description below, and you can just get registered with us, and you will also get access to our free sample papers from where you can download the sample papers from our pages, and you will get access to our free counseling sessions. So in case you need to ask any question regarding IELTS or any other exam, then you can get in touch with our expert counselors. As well as we also have so many videos which have been uploaded on our YouTube channel. So in case you have missed out on our, previous videos where we covered IELTS reading module completely, and then we also covered listening. We also had, the writing overview. And yesterday in our free Shiksha IELTS class for 1 hour, we discussed academic task 1. So today is, the opportunity for general training people. So let me show you on the slide in front of you. Yes, hi, good evening, all of you. Good evening. I can see the same, similar faces who come regularly to this class. So, welcome, all of you. Not just these people, but every candidate here. I'm very happy to see all of you. Thank you so much for joining. And yes, coming back to the slide. So, let me show you what all have we covered so far. So previously covered, you can see the 4 bullet points here. So we had covered in the first week of June IELTS reading module. Then we covered IELTS listening module in the second week of June. And during this week, we have covered overview of writing module, okay, where we discussed the pattern, timing, syllabus, everything. And then we also discussed yesterday academic task 1 report writing. So in case, guys, this is for everyone. In case you have missed out on these videos, you had not attended for any reason, then please go to the link below, which is given in the description. You can click on that link and you can watch all the videos, and you can get access to the IELTS calendar as well, so that you do not miss out on any video in the future. So all these videos are for free. The sample papers are for free, and the registration is for free. So please do make use of it. And to be covered, what are we going to cover today? So let me tell you beforehand, before you join this class, that this particular class for today, 1 hour, is going to be focused on general training letter writing. So in case you are for academic, then please ignore this, slide or PPT and wait for your turn, because in the end anyway we'll be discussing the kinds of letters and sample questions for the same. But yes, for academic, we had already discussed yesterday the report writing of task 1, as well as we are going to discuss tomorrow as well. So don't worry, your essay writing is still left. So in case you want to attend the essay writing, which is task 2 for both academic and general training, then you should join tomorrow. Okay, because today's class is going to be focused on general training candidates for letter writing. Then I'm going to show you what are the types of letters. I'm going to give you a format and structure which you should follow so that you get a better band in your task 1. I'm also going to share some tips and strategies which will help you to formulate and organize a very well structured, letter. Then let us, also see the marking criteria of task 1, because as an IELTS candidate, you should know how is your paper marked. And then I'm going to show you some example questions or sample questions. In the end, I'll give you some time to ask your doubts and queries. So you can ask your doubts and queries on the comment section later on when we have finished with the PPT, okay? So I'm starting with the slide, guys, and let us concentrate here. You can keep your pencils and pens and notebooks ready in case you want to make notes. But yes, otherwise these videos will be uploaded later on our YouTube channel, which is with the same name, Shiksha Study Abroad. All right. So you can also subscribe with us in case you want to get in touch, with our expert counselors, or you want to watch the free videos which we have already uploaded for the previous modules. Okay, coming back to the slide. So let us see what are the types of letters in General Training Task 1. So in IELTS General Training Task 1 or General Writing Task 1, there are 3 types of letters. So first is formal letter, second is semi-formal letter, and third is informal letter, which is also known as a personal letter. So let's read about General Writing Task 1. So the IELTS General Training Task 1 measures your ability to communicate about common practical issues. Then you have 20 minutes to respond to a question prompt by writing a letter to a person, company or institution. So this is just, the sample 3 pointers. Maybe you will be writing to a person, to a person, to a company or an institution. So like you can, see according to the question to whom are you writing. So your response is worth about 33% of your writing score and graded separately from the task 2. So always remember that your task 1 and task 2 both are graded separately, and your task 1, acquires about 33% of your total writing score. So just remind yourself of that when you're sitting for the IELTS writing exam. Now we come to the tips for IELTS General Training Task 1. So please be very attentive. If you want to gain as many marks as you can in your letter writing, then please be attentive throughout these tips. Alright, so coming back to the slide, first tip which I want to give all of you for letter writing is identify the type of letter you are being asked to write. So it's very important to identify the type of letter, because if you will not identify the correct letter, which letter are you going to write? For example, is it a formal letter, is it a semi-formal, or is it an informal letter? Only then you can write the correct structure to that letter, right? Because every letter has a different structure and you have to follow that to get a better band. So 3 types of letters are there: formal, semi-formal and informal. So step 2 will help you to recognize each type of letter. So let's see what is step 2. Your step 2 is identify the purpose of the letter. So it's very important to identify what is the purpose behind writing the letter. You can see here in this table on the left hand side, on the left row and column, there are types of letters written, and then there are purposes written according to the letter. So for example, formal letter, that means either you are requesting information from a company, or you are writing or applying for a job, either you are complaining to a bank, store, airline, reproduct or a service, or either you're making a recommendation or suggestion. So in your letters, if any of these words you find in your letters, that means you are about to write an formal letter. Okay, you're about to write a formal letter. But in case you are given the letter that you have to complain to a landlord, or you are writing or explaining to a neighbor, asking a professor for permission, then for these 3 things you are going to write a semi-formal letter. All right. And in case you are given in the question that invites someone you know very well, or thanking a friend, apologizing or asking for advice, so in these 4 pointers you're going to write an informal letter. So always remember, if you find any of these words in your letter, then according to these words you're going to identify which kind of letter are you going to write. Now once you have identified the purpose of the letter, then you will have to choose what will be your opening and closing of the letter, which has to be written correctly, because you get separate marks and you are graded separately for the opening and closing, because this is a part of your structure and format. So do this based on the type of or purpose of the letter. So let's see this chart now in front of you. First column is style, second is characteristics, then we have the opening and ending according to the letter. So let's look at the formal letter first. So the characteristics of the formal letter will be that you're writing to someone you have not met or whose name you don't know. Okay. Then the opening for these formal kind of letters will be that you'll start with dear sir or madam. Now sometimes in your question it is already given in the question that start your letter with dear sir or madam. Okay, so in that case it becomes easy for you. In case it's not given to you, then you will identify the type of letter first, and then you will start writing the formal letter. So you'll start your letter with dear sir or madam, formal letter, and you'll end it with yours faithfully. So you cannot write anything else here in the starting or in the end. You have to stick to this format if you want to get good marks in your letter writing. Now, second is semi-formal. So, semi-formal characteristics are that you are writing to someone you may or may not have met. Okay, just highlight this in your mind. May or may not have met. That means it's a semi-formal letter, and whose last name you know. Okay, so opening will be like Dear Mr. Brown or Dear Miss Stone. So you will use the name but only the surname, the last name. And in the initials, you'll write Mr., Miss, Mrs., whatever is the initial. And you'll end it with, or you'll end the semi-formal letter with yours sincerely. And please do not forget to mark this comma after faithfully and sincerely. Okay. This is very important and this is a part of punctuation. Now we come to the last kind of letter. The style is informal. So the characteristics for this informal letter will be you are writing to someone you know well or whose first name you know and use. For example, your family or your friends or your relatives, okay? You know them well and you know their first name. So the opening of such kind of letters will be Dear John or Dear Anita, all right? The first name only. And the ending would be something like this, best regards or warm wishes or warm regards, okay? Now, this was the opening and closing of letter. Now, let's look at some of the phrases. How can you use these phrases? The fourth tip is start the letter appropriately. Okay, so the starting and ending is a very crucial part of your letter. So, A, open a formal and semi-formal letter with a formal sentence and paragraph. So, get down to business and say why you're writing. Don't try to be friendly, as you do not know the person you are writing to. All right, so you do not have to be friendly in your letters, like starting with hi, how are you. You don't have to say all of that. Just directly come to the business of the letter. That means the purpose of the letter, why you're writing. Okay, coming to the formal letter first. So you'll start with Dear Sir or Madam, comma. Then in the next line, I am writing to inquire about, and then go on with your sentence. Or you can start with I am writing in connection with, and then you can go on with the sentence. So these are just two sample phrases or sentences which I have listed down for you. There are many others, the way which you can start with the letter writing. So I'll provide you that in the vocabulary class, which will happen in the end of the June, maybe the last class of June, where I'll give you the vocabulary words for every module, not just writing, speaking, reading, and listening as well. Okay. Okay, coming back to the slide. So semi-formal letter that you will start with this, Dear Mr. Johnson, and then I am writing to inform you that, and so on. Or you can either start with I am writing to, and so on. So these are few of the phrases which you can use in your letters, in the opening of the letters. B is open an informal letter with a general friendly paragraph. Now, as you know that in informal letters, the characteristics which we just read here, you know the person well whom you're writing to. That is why it is an informal letter. Either you're writing to your friend or family or relative whose first name you know and use. So in this case, how would you write? Acknowledge your friendship first before explaining the reason for your letter and for your writing. So for example, you have started like this, Dear Susan. So there is a comma missing out. I'll just add it. All right. So reading further, Dear Susan, I hope you and your family are all well. Then an exclamation mark. It was so wonderful to spend time with all of you last month. It felt great to catch up with you and Bob, get to know your children, and have fun together after so long. You have always been dear friends of mine and will always be. Okay? And then you are starting with the next paragraph. Anyway, the reason I'm writing is that I have some good news. I am getting married in September and so on. So this was just a sample starting or sample opening of the informal letter. I'll give you the whole letter as an explanation how to write the formal, semi-formal and informal letter tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow also we are having an assessment class along with the essay writing class. So tomorrow, guys, this is for everyone. Tomorrow I'll be taking up task 2, which is essay writing. And task 2 essay writing remains same for both academic and general training. So we'll be covering up that tomorrow. Along with that, I'll be giving you some assessment question along with the answers. So you'll know how to write the letter as well as the essay. All right. Coming to the 5th tip for letter writing, that is learn and use the standard written phrases. So in English letter writing, we use a number of standard expressions and phrases. These not only save time and effort, but also make it easier for the reader to understand our meaning. So you can add on the specific information you wish to communicate to these standard phrases and see the full list of useful expressions below. So I have also listed down some expressions. I'll show you. Just let me read the 6th tip first. So spell commonly used words correctly. Okay. So learn and practice the correct spelling of words that you're likely to use on the exams. Like, for example, sincerely or faithfully in connection with apologize and so on. So this is an easy way to boost your score. So whenever you're writing a letter, be simple in your language, but try to use as many good words as you can. And I will also advise one more thing: just use the good words, uncommon words only if you're comfortable with them. Okay, if you know the meaning of them and only if you know how to use them. Okay, coming to the 7th tip, which is divide your letter into paragraphs. So usually you need 4 paragraphs. So first will be your introduction paragraph of the letter. Then you will talk about the problem and situation, okay, which is being talked about. And then in the 3rd paragraph, you will talk about the solution and action related to that situation. And in the end, of course, just like your essay, you will conclude. You will give the conclusion to your letter. So all paragraphs should be there in your letter writing in order to get full marks for your format and structure. Because format and structure play a very important role. All the 3 letters have different structures and formats. So please do follow the format and structure which I just showed you in the chart. Alright, coming to the same tip, and here it's written, make sure to signal the start of a new paragraph in one of the 2 ways. So it's always good to follow either of these two. Either of these two means either you will do indenting or either you will skip a line. So let's see what is indenting. Indenting means do not leave a line space between paragraphs. Start writing a little to the right of the left margin. So please do not get confused. You always have on the answer sheet in your IELTS exam, in the writing module, you always have the left margin, drawn there. So you will start a little to the right of the left margin and you will not leave any space. So this is one way of writing the letter. The another way of writing a letter is that you will skip a line. That means you will leave a line space between the paragraphs and you will start writing directly from the left margin. So no need to, shift your space or no need to start writing from the right of the left margin. You can start directly from the left margin without leaving any space and you have to skip a line in that case. So just be attentive in these 2 scenarios. Either you will follow indenting or either you will follow the second one, which is skipping a line. So please do follow either of these 2 if you want to get good marks in your format and structure. Now, 8th is use clear handwriting. So make sure your handwriting is neat and legible so your words can be read easily and do not appear to have spelling mistakes. So get feedback from a teacher on your handwriting. Please pay attention to how you form and connect letters such as A, E, I, U, N, R and W. Now why these letters specifically? Because the thing is that many times the examiners are not able to read your answers because of your handwriting. So you have to play an important note to your handwriting because it does play a crucial role. Okay, especially if you're giving a paper-based test. Because in computer-based test or CBT, anyway, you're typing on the computer. So yeah, coming to the 9th tip, guys, which is write at least 150 words. So this is very crucial because if you're not meeting this, minimum word limit, of course, your bands will be cut. So practice writing letters till you know what 150 words feel like and looks like. So you will lose marks if you write less. You will not lose marks if you write more. So there is no negative marking for the upper word limit. That means you may write 150, more than 150 words. But of course, if you're writing less than 150, then your bands will be cut. So coming to the 10th tip, which is include all the 3 bulleted points. So if you exclude even one of the points given to you in the question prompt, you will get a lower grade. So answer all the points. In your letter, explain the problem, describe why it disturbs you, and suggest a solution. So all these 3 pointers, these 3 bullet points will be given to you in your question, and you have to write for each of these 3. That means the 3 paragraphs will be based on this, and first will be your introduction. So that makes it up to 4 paragraphs in your letter. 11th is finish in time. So in IELTS General Task 1, letter is worth about 30% of your writing score. So make sure that you complete the whole letter. Though you have to make up a story to explain the situation, keep it simple so you don't run out of time. And make sure to keep 40 minutes completely to complete the essay in Task 2, which is worth more than in terms of points. So far, guys, you already know. I have already talked about it in my previous videos as well when we were just starting with the writing module, that your task 1 is about 30 to 33% of your total writing score. But that does not mean that you do not have to pay attention equally to your task 1. Task 1 and task 2 both are, crucial tasks of your writing paper. So make sure that you give equal importance to both of them. Although task 2, that is essay writing, has more weightage as compared to your task 1, okay, be it report writing or letter writing. Now, if we come to the next tip, which is 12th one, which is saying that read model letters but don't memorize them. So instead, read the letters to get an idea of the overall flow and to pick up, new vocabulary, words or expressions. So this tip is mostly or mainly for those people who think that they will, memorize the letter writing and sample question and answers and they will just go and copy paste the same thing. No, that doesn't happen in IELTS. Even if you do it deliberately, then definitely your bands will be cut, because examiners are sitting there for checking your IELTS writing exam papers just for a reason. They are examiners due to a reason. So they just quickly, within a wink, they come to know if you have copy pasted it from somewhere or if you have memorized and just, written it in the paper by looking at some sample answer. They will come to know. They will get to know. So please do not memorize. Just read the sample answers to learn more of vocabulary words as well as to enhance your knowledge on certain topics. But yes, please do not cheat or, copy paste it from somewhere. 13th is understand the scoring criteria. So learn how to get a high score by knowing what examiners look for and how they award or deduct the points. So let me tell you the marking criteria now. Okay, marking criteria. Before that, we have the main differences between the 3 types of letters. So I have formulated this chart for all of you guys, and let's see what are the differences. So there are 5 differences in total, which I have listed down. First is formal, then second is semi-formal, and third is informal. So let's read about the formal first. So in formal letter, you don't know the person's name you are writing to. Example, bank, foreign university. Then greetings or the opening of the letter will be like, dear sir or madam. Letter endings will be with yours faithfully. So guys, I have one, small game which you can play with your mind and just get to memorize the opening and ending of the letter so that you never get wrong. So that, you never get it wrong. So for example, formal is starting with the letter F. So always remember, with F, formal letter, you will remember that you have to end it with faithfully, which is also starting with the F letter. So F and F, formal, for formal, faithfully. Same goes for S, semi-formal, S, sincerely. So this is how you can, memorize or just remember that you do not have to write anything else but for formal, faithfully, and semi-formal, sincerely. So this is how you'll remember it. Then in formal letter, your name, Mr. John Brown, always with a family name, but the title is optional. Okay, so title means this, first Mr. and John. Okay, so you have to use dear sir or madam, or you can use, dear Mr. John Brown, something like this. But again, as I said, but the title is optional. I would advise all of you to, although it's written here, you can use Mr. John Brown, but I would advise all of you to start with your formal letter as, a dear sir or madam only. The last pointer of the difference is the tone of the letter is formal. So be polite. You can't use contractions. So contractions are I am writing. So you cannot write it as I'm writing. I and apostrophe M. Okay? Like is not becomes isn't. Would not becomes wouldn't. So you cannot write the contractions or the short forms. You have to write it as I am writing. Okay? Coming to the semi-formal now. So let's read about it quickly. So you know the person, but he or she is not a close friend to you. For example, teacher, landlord, manager, and colleague. So these are not very close to you, but you know them. You know them by their last name, maybe the first name as well. But we usually treat them as semi-formal. So greetings, of course, will be Dear Mr. Smith or Dear Mrs. Smith. Then letter endings, as I already told you, yours sincerely or sincerely yours. And please do not forget to put a comma in the end. Your name, John Brown, always with a family name, but the title is optional again. So the tone of the letter is polite, so mostly formal language. However, use a couple of phrases that are on the informal side. That means that it's a mixture of, semi-formal letter is a mixture of formal and informal letter, but mostly formal. Why? Because we are still writing it to someone whom we don't know. So we cannot be impolite, we cannot be very friendly or informal with them. We have to be, on a certain percentage, we have to be formal with them. Hence, it's a semi-formal letter. Now, guys, coming to the informal letter. So you know him or her personally, example, friends and family. And greetings will be like dear mom or dear John, my dear friend. You can start with this. Then endings will be like with best wishes or see you soon, take care, all the best, best regards. All of that can be included in the ending of the letter. Your name, how would you write your name? Like, for example, best wishes, and then comma, in the next line, write John. No title and no family name. Okay, so your name here means in this row you can see here your name. This is for your own name. Okay, like for example, mine, Disha Vahi Kala. Okay, so I would write it like that in the formal and semi-formal letter. But in the informal letter, I would just write, with best regards, comma, in the next line, just my first word or my first name, Disha. That's it. Then in the informal letter, the tone of the letter is informal. You can use contractions. I am writing. So I am. No need to write am in full. You can use this contraction and you have to use it, in fact. Why? Because you have to show that you know how to write an informal letter. So you will use a contraction form. You can write, should not into shouldn't. You can write could not into couldn't. So you can use the contractions. They are allowed in the informal letter only, not in the formal and semi-formal letter. But not abbreviations. So SIA and acronyms like OMG does not use academic language. Okay. So these acronyms and short forms are not allowed, SIA or OMG, like these. But you can only use, the contraction forms. Now let me show you what is the marking criteria of letter writing, your general training task 1. So first is obviously task achievement. We have already talked about it yesterday as well, but I'm still going to revise it quickly with all of you, so that if anyone who has joined us today, for the first time, they also know what is the marking criteria of task 1. So first is task achievement. Do everything you are asked to do. Give a full developed response. Include or cover all the necessary points and write 150 words. So all these pointers you will be marked on the basis of this parameter, which is known as task achievement. So if you are doing all these 4 pointers in an appropriate way, then you will be given full marks for your task achievement. And always remember all these pointers: task achievement, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, and grammar range and accuracy. All these 4 parameters of your marking criteria are divided into 25% of the marking. Okay, so that means you will get 25% full marks if you're doing all these 4 pointers for task achievement. Let's see what is coherence and cohesion. So coherence is presenting ideas logically using structured paragraphs. Cohesion is write so points together make sense and convey your message, use standard expressions and transition words. Transition words are transition means changing from one form to the other. So for example, if you want to make a contrast in your letter, if you want to write a sentence which has a contrast to the previous sentence, so you will use words like however, but, although. But if you want to add in information and if you want to show the continuation of the sentence, then with one sentence to the other, you can link them with additionally, in addition to, moreover, and. Okay, so these are few words which you can use. So if you're doing, if you're completing your letter writing on the basis of coherence and cohesion fully, and if you're following these pointers, then you will be given full marks for your coherence and cohesion. So coherence basically means your logical consistency, how logical and rational you are with your ideas and points. And cohesion basically is your organization or the flow of ideas. How well are you organizing your letter? Coming to the next parameter of marking, which is lexical resource. So yesterday also I told you, no need to worry about these 2 big fat words. Lexical resource basically means your vocabulary. So use a wide range of vocabulary naturally, correctly and fluently. Use correct spelling, choose the right words, that is word choice, and use the correct form of words such as verbs, nouns, etc. So that is also word form. So if you're using your words correctly, then you'll get full marks for your vocabulary. Last marking criteria, which is again very crucial point of this letter writing, is grammar range and accuracy. So please do not ignore your grammar. Use a wide range of grammar structures, include different kinds of sentences like simple, compound, and complex. Of course, for using them, you need to know them. So please do Google about it. What are simple, compound, and complex sentences? Use effective punctuation. So punctuation marks are basically your commas, your full stops, your exclamation mark, or capital letters in the beginning of the sentence. All of these come under punctuation. Then use correct capitalization. Again, as I said, capital letters in the starting of the sentence. Now, last step here is practice writing letters regularly and get them checked by an IELTS trainer. So, of course, if you want to gain good bands in your letter writing or in the writing exam as a whole, then definitely you need a trainer by your side who can check your speaking and writing. Because reading and listening is still, manageable by the candidates themselves. But yes, if you want to get your writing and speaking graded, then you need to have a trainer by your side so that he or she can give you the feedback after you're done with your practice. Okay, now here I have listed down few useful, vocabulary words and phrases for letter writing specifically. So in case you want to use them, you can go through them quickly. For example, I'll just show you the sample questions of 1 and 2. So let's, read for apologizing. So if you want to apologize in the letter to someone, then you can start with this: please accept my sincere apologies for, and then you can continue with your sentence, whatever is the purpose of the letter. Then you can also start it with, I am very sorry about, or you can either say sorry for, and then so on. Then asking for help, I'd be grateful if you could, and then continue. I would appreciate it if you could dash, then continue. Or could you please, and then continue. So these are all phrases for different kinds of, purposes of the letter. Example, if you're asking for information, then you can say this. If you're closing the letter, then you can say this. So there are many of them. There are a total of 3 slides, okay, on which I have taken down few words, and I have just listed down here for all of you so that you can take help from here and use them in your letter writing. So later on, when you are going through the video again, you can go through all these words later on and watch the video again on our YouTube channel. So for now, I'm going to come on sample letter questions, and I'm going to show you what a formal letter looks like. So formal letter, you can have an question. You can have a question by your side on the exam like this. So this is just a example formal letter. You are looking for a full-time job. Write a letter to an employment agency in your letter. So for example, you have to introduce yourself, then you have to explain what sort of job you like or say what experience and skills you have, and begin your letter as follows. So, dear sir or madam, this was the thing which I was telling you in the starting of the webinar as well, that this sometimes is given to you in the question. In fact, most of the times. So, it becomes easy as your job to, identify the letter. So, if it's given already, dear sir and madam, start or begin your letter with dear sir or madam, then definitely you know that it's a formal letter, because this formal letter written here will not be written in the exam. Right now I have written it just to show you that what a sample question of formal letter looks like. So this will not be mentioned. This question will start from here, you are looking for. Okay, so you will have to identify yourself what kind of letter it is. Then you should write at least 150 words, and you should spend about 20 minutes on this task. So this bold line will be given to you in every sample question. Okay, coming to the semi-formal letter, so let me show you the sample question for semi-formal letter as well. How will it look like? So the question is, you are going to take a short holiday in Singapore and you want to rent a holiday apartment while you are there. So write to the tourist information office. So in your letter, explain what you need, say when you plan to be there, ask for information about prices, and begin your letter as follows. So dear Mr. and Miss, begin your letter. So they have already given it, Mr. and Miss. Just by looking at this, you will come to know that it's a semi-formal letter. So it will be easy for you to start the letter, okay? Then again, the same instructions, about 150 words and 20 minutes. Let's see what an informal letter looks like. Okay, so the question looks like this. You stayed at your friend's house when you attended a conference in Australia. So unfortunately, you left a large envelope with some important documents in your room, and write a letter to your friend. In the letter, what should you write? You should write, thanking your friend for the stay. Thank your friend for the stay. Then you should write, describe where you left the envelope. And third point is, ask him or her to return it to you by post. Then again, begin your letter as follows, dear dash. So you know that dear, and if there is only one single dash and there is no Mr. and Miss written, there is no dear sir or madam written, then definitely you know that it's an informal letter, because you directly have to start with this first name, dear, and then dash. Okay, so this is or this was the sample question of the informal letter. Now with this, I finish with the PPT. And now I give you some time to ask me any doubts or questions which you have regarding the letter writing for the today's class. So yes, I already have one question on my comment section. So am I supposed to guess the name of the tourist, or will it be given? A very good question. So the name of the tourist will not be given to you. You can choose any name by yourself. That's your choice, totally up to you. And the examiners are not going to judge you or not going to judge your opinion, like what kind of name are you taking. They are only concerned with the letter writing. That means your skills of writing a letter. So names you can choose yourself. I hope that answers your question. Okay. Any other question, guys, related to today's class? Or you can also ask me any question related to IELTS, any module, reading, writing, speaking, or listening. And also, please do register if you have not registered with us so far and you have watched the video, you like it, and you want to attend more such free videos on the YouTube, then please register with us, because it will directly take you to, our Shiksha Study Abroad page, where you will get the access to the IELTS calendar and you can see how many classes are left. We are going to start with speaking module also very soon. So today we have finished with, the general training task 1, which was letter writing. And tomorrow we are going to finish up with task 2, which is essay writing. So I'm going to show you what are the tips and strategies of writing a letter, band 8 and 9 band 8 and 9 essay writing question, as well as I'm going to show you some sample question along with the answers. So tomorrow is an assessment class as well. Please do not forget that. So in case you're just joining right now or you do not know about it, let me tell you a small reminder for all of you. Tomorrow we are going to cover up task 2, that is essay writing, which is same for academic and general training, as well as I'm also going to cover up, or I'm also going to throw some light on the sample question and answers. So I will show you how to write task 1, report writing of academic. I will show you how to write a letter, formal and informal both, tomorrow, and along with the full answer. And I'm also going to show you one sample question of the essay writing. So I'm going to read all the answers in front of you here on the YouTube live streaming. So please do not forget to attend tomorrow's class. How do I register? Well, the link is being pasted here for all of you. So in case you were not able to find the link in the description below, then I have just copy pasted the link for all of you here on the comment box. So you can just click on this link and get access to our free IELTS calendar. So the question is, okay, so somebody is saying, thank you for the best class. My question is, it allowed to start with a dear instead of dear sir or madam? Yes, so as I said, first of all, thank you so much for that lovely comment. And secondly, let me answer your question. So allowed with dear dash hiring manager. So of course, if you're writing to a manager or to a CEO or anyone in the upper post, in the higher post of the management, then definitely you have to use dear sir or madam. Okay, you will not use dear and the name. You will not do that. You will only do that in the informal letter. Informal letter means where you know the person. So hiring manager, of course, you do not know his name or you do not know him really well, or you do not talk to him in a friendly or impolite way. Hence, it's a formal letter. So in the formal letter, as I already told you, if you want to revise again, you can just watch this video again for your help. So you have to start with dear sir or madam in the case of formal letters. Next question is 150. Which words written here? What names? Yeah, another writing like so it. Okay, so as far as I have understood by your question, 150 words is for letter writing or report writing. Report writing is for academic people and letter writing is for general training people. Both are task ones. Okay, so in task 1 you have to write minimum of 150 words. For task 2, which I'll be covering up tomorrow, essay writing, in that you have to write at least minimum of 250 words. Okay, so do you guys help with study in Germany? Of course, we have, our expert counselors who are willing to help you already in, the migration forms or migration purposes. For any question related to migration to any country, please contact our expert counselors, and you can do that by clicking on this link, which I have just posted on the comment section right now. So just click on it and you will have access to our page. You will also get in touch with our expert counselors who give free end-to-end counseling, and you will also get to download our free sample papers. Along with that, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, where you are watching this live video. So this YouTube channel is with the same name, Shiksha Study Abroad. We deal with so many exams. IELTS is just one of them. So do attend the daily live sessions which we are having, because these are free of cost. You do not have to pay anything. And of course, okay, coming to the next question, again from the same person, Anjali. So do you help with visa process and other process? Of course, that is why we have the counselors, right? So I am here for training, but if you need any help for counseling or for knowing about any country or for knowing about what IELTS should you give academic or general training, every question will be answered by the counselor. So please do get in touch with the counselors by clicking on this link. Any other question, guys? And along with these videos, I would advise all of you to practice, side by side. Please do not ignore your practice sessions, because just by watching the videos, you will just gain the knowledge. You will just learn about the tips and strategies. But until unless you're not implementing or executing it in your work, it won't help. Okay, so just go and watch the previous videos as well. We have already covered up reading and listening modules so far. This week we are going to cover writing module as a whole completely, and then next week we are starting with the speaking module. So I know, writing and speaking can be a very big challenge for many of the candidates. So do attend these classes. These will really help you. So somebody is asking, dear ma'am, do you help in Canada visa process as well? Yes. So we deal with the Canada and Germany, Australia, US, and many other countries we have started lately. So please do, click on the link to know more about the other exams as well as the countries where you're willing to migrate. So yes, you can ask all these questions related to the migration process as well as visa or the countries to our counselors. So guys, if there is no other question related to the today's class or any other question related to any other module, then I would like to wind up. But yes, if you want to ask later on as well any other question, for example, you have just watched any of, one of our videos and then you want to ask any other question, you can do that by commenting on the, comment section of that particular video where you watched it, and then we'll be able to answer it, because we do regularly follow, our subscribed candidates, and we also answer their questions, all their queries as soon as possible, as soon as we can. So don't worry if your questions are not answered here on the live chat. You can ask them later on as well after watching the videos. And if you come up with any doubt, just don't hesitate to write your question on the comment section. They will be answered very soon. Okay. I learned a lot from today's class. Thanks. All right. Welcome, all of you. Whoever is saying thank you, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us. It's a very big encouragement for us as well, because we have started these free Shiksha IELTS classes just in this month of June. And very soon we'll be starting with the assessment classes for particularly IELTS candidates who are really serious for their IELTS. So I am, here to help you in your IELTS journey, to make it smoother, to make it easy for you to crack IELTS in one go. And very soon in the month of July, we are starting with the assessments. That means I'll be solving reading, listening, writing and speaking modules in front of you, just to let you know how to answer the questions or how to solve the questions in reading, writing and listening. So don't worry about that. All your doubts will be cleared. Okay, so I think that's all for the day. Let me wind up quickly. So thank you so much, guys, all of you. Thank you everyone for joining us today. So I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Today we have covered up general training task 1, letter writing, and tomorrow we are going to focus on essay writing. Also, you will be getting all the sample answers from each of the question types. So one answer for report writing, one answer for letter writing, and one answer for essay writing. I'll be solving all 3 questions tomorrow in front of you. So if you want to see how to answer all of these 3 questions, then please do attend tomorrow's webinar. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Take care.